It's another episode of Nerds with Beers. Chilling with the homies here.
Bets. Sean Gailey, Ops Genie.
George Escobedo, Ops Genie.
You know me, it's Jamal from Professional Data Management.
And me, as usual, Antoine Victor, Professional Data Management, but with the broken finger. Sorry. It's stuck like that. So today we're talking about issues with alerts becoming noise. And a case study that I like to talk about when I'm doing my DevOps and Agile presentations is the Night Capital case study, which I was just telling you guys about. And what's amusing about this case study... Nerds with beers, nerds with shots, whatever. Cheers. Nerds with beers. So this Night Capital case study, it's near and dear to my heart because I've done some work at Rackspace Hosting. You guys familiar with Rackspace?
Yep.
So at Rackspace, I help out the support guys, and we talk about how we can optimize things and how we can better support SQL Server and whatnot. But one of the things that these guys constantly complain about is how people always call support, and everybody that calls, no matter what, they're like, our website's down. We're losing millions of dollars a minute.
Okay.
And then you look at their web logs, and they get like 10 hits a day. So unless each one of those hits is worth several $1 million, they're not making millions of dollars a day. But everybody complains that they're losing millions of dollars a minute.
Right.
So this Night Capital case study, it's amusing to me because Night Capital actually lost $460 million in 45 minutes. So
when they called and said, we're losing millions of dollars, they really
meant it. And it was tens of millions of dollars.
And also, this all came about because I specifically asked what a specific use case would be for something like Ops Genie and when it's the ideal time to look at something for alert management and aggregation. Perfect.
So in this Night Capital case study, these guys were getting all these alerts every day, all the time, because they weren't filtered, right? They get an alert that says the server started, the server shut down, or disk I/O was a little bit out of whack, but everything's kind of still working, so these alerts become classified as noise. Like, we get that every day, don't worry about that, it's not a big deal. But this particular day, somebody had done a manual deployment to all 7 of the 8 servers in the cluster. And for the first 5 minutes, there were alerts generated. But nobody paid any attention because, fuck it, we get those all the time. We get these alerts all the time, so nobody's paying attention. For the first 5 minutes, nobody paid any attention whatsoever. And so, if you remember from the beginning, every minute was $10 million in revenue lost. Not revenue lost, $10 million in bad transactions. So money was actually spent on stuff that it shouldn't have been spent on. So it's not like, oops, lost opportunity. It's, oops, we threw some money out for something that we didn't need to throw money out.
Do you know what they were using for monitoring or ticketing or anything like that for alert generation?
The case study isn't clear on that, but I would venture to say they weren't using anything. They're probably using a home-rolled solution.
Homegrown, yeah.
They had some alerts set up to go to each one of the engineers every time anything happened, not errors, but warnings and informational messages. So for 5 minutes, they're like, that's the same old stuff we get every day. So nobody paid any attention. After 5 minutes, they realized, hey, these alerts mean something. Something bad is happening. So after that 5 minutes, Night Capital's IT staff started actually looking at the alerts. But it took them another 40 minutes to figure out what those alerts meant. So let's go back to the original math. $460 million in 45 minutes. That means every minute they're losing $10 million plus. So that first 5 minutes,
So
that's $50 million.
You're saying that's bad for business?
That's a lot of beers. That's a lot of beers they wasted.
Well, right? You would think that 5 minutes would be a good turnaround to find out and start working on it, but not when there's 40 additional minutes that need to be taken to cure it.
5 minutes is a good turnaround for discovering what the solution is and fixing it. 5 minutes is not a good period of time to say, oh, maybe we should look at this now.
Right.
Yeah, right. So $50 million later, you're like, oh, it's not noise. Maybe we should look.
Yeah.
And then another 40 minutes before we figure out what the problem is. And if you're not familiar with the Night Capital case study, the issue was that they did a manual deployment. Now, since we're here at DevOps Days in Seattle this week, manual deployments is probably a topic that's good for discussion. we should automate everything, right?
Automated.
DevOps culture says we do whatever we need to change the culture to deliver business value to the end customer. And not knowing what alerts are and waiting $50 million later to actually do something about a problem is not delivering business value to the customer. So had Night Capital had Ops Genie, they would have been able to filter those alerts so they wouldn't receive noise all the time. And when they finally got an alert, it'd be like, something's wrong. We need to look into this now.
Yeah.
And hopefully those alerts will be filtered and focused enough so they know exactly what it is, so it doesn't take them 40 minutes to figure out what it is.
Didn't see that or didn't acknowledge it or close it, that goes to the next person. So then it would have been acknowledged or closed.
So you can do parallel alerts. So if the alert goes to one person, they don't receive the notification, they don't respond to it.
You can
It
set up
sends the alerts to another
escalation
person.
policies to go critical, which obviously that was critical.
Definitely, $10 million a minute is kind of a critical issue.
You can say, hey, if this person doesn't acknowledge us within 1 minute, call the next person, call the next person, call the next person. If nobody acknowledges that, loop back around, repeat that 20 times until somebody finally notices that that's going on.
So you can set a scheduled alert for the people that should be involved. You can list all the people that should get alert. They get them in parallel. They all get them at the same time.
You could
or they
have it
get
set
them
that way. So
or
that
you
it
can
goes-
set them so it goes to one person,
Yeah.
waits 5 minutes, and goes to the next person.
exactly.
In this case, that would not have been good. Everybody gets the alert at the same time.
That's the exact point that I was
In
gonna
addition
make.
to that, you can even have it say, like, if the custom script is written, you can have it restart whatever server's fucking everything up.
Okay.
So that way, you're just fixing the situation right away. And, I mean, I feel like I hear it too often that, like, enough companies are not, like, having a solution in place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, like, manually doing exactly... They're reacting to it instead of being like, oh, this happened, we already have a process in place, let's fix it.
We'll send the alerts to the distribution group. Somebody will look
Or
at it.
God-
Somebody's
God
going to have to
forbid.
wake up in the middle of the night.
Right.
So my
But it ain't me.
My question
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
since these guys are all conditioned
Yeah.
to look at that as noise, what is the solution for the filtering? Like, what is the,
So
in your
one of-
opinion, what is the best
One of the
solution?
things that you can do is deduplication. So each alert has a specific alias. And so when that alert comes in, instead of getting 50 of the same alerts, you get one alert and the alert count on the alerts dashboard just ticks up. So you would see that go from 1 to 50, but you would get one alert. So that alert noise is not going to piss you off to the point where you want to just delete that.
So it's repeating the alert, but you only get one.
Correct.
But as it repeats, it
Every one of those
escalates.
alerts has the same alias.
Okay.
So,
So
you know
that's-
exactly what it pertains to
Yep.
when it comes in. You're not guessing. Like,
If it's saying, server down, production server down, you're going to get one alert, have time to work on it instead of getting hounded with emails and texts, whatever. So you can
So
actually
you
work
don't end up setting up the rule to eliminate the noise. Whenever I get this alert, just send it to spam because I get it 50 times a day.
I literally talked to a guy. He was like a director of support at, I forget what company it was, but he goes, yeah, we get so many alerts that from this one particular service, and I'm not going to say what that service is, but I told all my guys to just delete them all.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing's getting resolved.
And literally, he told his team to delete every single email that they were, every email alert that they were getting from this service.
That's what happens when alerts
And then
get
I go,
classified as noise.
Wouldn't you like to just integrate that with something like Ops Genie, where you can actually find benefit of this tool that is expensive, and you can actually use it, and then use us on top of that, and we'll save you time based on return on investment.
Well, I think what you absolutely do not want to do is train your IT staff to ignore alerts.
Exactly.
Right? This is noise.
That's probably not best
delete
practice.
these messages. Whenever you get a message from this server, just delete it.
Yeah.
Don't read it. Just delete it. That's noise.
That's the fix.
Right? I know you get these 50 messages
that
every
shit.
day. Just ignore that shit. Just delete it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry that the organization is crashing and burning around you and we're losing $10 million a minute. Just delete that.
If it's coming from SolarWinds, oh, I didn't say that. Then
We'll edit that out.
So,
Not.
so being that cost is an issue with everybody, obviously the bottom
Always.
line, right? Is there a significant difference between what a larger company, like let's say AT&T, would use as opposed to like a mom and pop shop?
it's all same license structure, so it's per user per month. Volume discounts, obviously, if you're going to buy 3,000 users, then it's going to be a little different than
So
buying
across the
five.
board, it's the same solution.
Same solution.
And the users are the people that are getting the alerts.
Yes. So we have users, admins, owners. So users are just users of the system.
Okay.
And admins can make changes to specific on-call schedule, escalation policy, the routing rule, anything on the team's dashboard or the integration level. An admin can change, but a user can't.
This is important, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, so what you've just heard is a review of the Night Capital case study and how Ops Genie might help avoid the issues that happen at Night Capital by not classifying those alerts as noise. And that will conclude this episode of Nerds with Beers, because now it's Nerds with Shots.
It's a good thing I'm not a hospital because I'm running out of patience.
All right, awesome.